The Wayne Area Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee sponsored a political forum on Monday evening at the Wayne Senior Center. Candidates for the school board and the city council of the city of Wayne were on hand Monday to answer questions and talk with voters who attended the meeting. Now let's go to the school board portion of the meeting held at the Wayne Senior Center on Monday evening.
A few questions, as many as possible. We got to, I guess, more at the city council level than I thought we would, so that was a good thing. Again, please write down your questions, and I believe Mark Lenahan is still around, that they'll take those cards and get them up to me. We'll also have 2 minutes for each question, and then 2 minutes for closing comments. So we'll start with Casey. And again, please state your name for both the audience here as well as on the radio.
Hello, I am Casey Hurner. I'm very pleased to be here this evening, and I'm very excited for the opportunity to run for a seat on the Wayne Community School Board. A little bit about my family. I am married to Andy. I do have 3 children, an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I think that proves my investment for wanting to run for school board and the future of Wayne Community Schools. I do enjoy the vision that Wayne Community Schools has. It is learning for life. I think this is a vision that I have always had in my life as an educator. I have been a teacher, a facilitator, and now I'm a professor of education for the past 14 years. I've been in different and various school systems, so I am very aware of what goes on and how school systems run. I have been an advocate for students. That is the first and foremost reason why I decided to become a teacher. Students are always a top priority of mine. I will do anything I need to and can in order to meet and reach all of their needs. As a school board member, we have various different responsibilities that we have to adhere to. We have to be responsive in meeting all of the needs of our community as well as our school system as a whole. We would need to listen to the entity and collaboratively involve ourselves in different community members, with different community members, with different parents, with other teachers, with administrators, to really understand what is going on in the Wayne Community School System as a whole. The Wayne Community School Board operating procedures, they have a lot of expectations of school board members, which is great because they all are facilitated so well to actually meet the needs of all the learners, as well as the teachers and the administrators and the parents within the different school systems. Of these different areas that school board members would need to be well versed in and work in the realm of would be the personnel, instruction, technology, facilities, different educational concerns, as well as educational law. I think all of these different aspects of a school board member I have had firsthand experience with, and I have an extensive knowledge of due to my different areas that I've taught in, as well as worked with in my education. It is my hope that I am provided with the opportunity to continue to serve Wayne community as a whole in the capacity as a future school board member. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wendy Consoli, and I just want to start out by sharing a little bit about my childhood. I grew up in western Nebraska in the town of Gearing, and my childhood experiences really shaped my decision on the career choice that I chose. When I was 4, my father suffered a severe brainstem stroke that left him paralyzed from the neck down. And for 10 years, he was unable to speak. And so growing up, I saw speech therapists and physical therapists work with him. And when he would come home on special occasions, my family had to learn how to communicate with him and understand how he was communicating with us and for us to understand. And so that really shaped my interest and my decision into speech pathology. I have worked with the Educational Service Unit in Wakefield for 25 years as a speech-language pathologist. I went back to school 14 years ago to get an endorsement in deaf education. I have experience at the leadership role as I am the coordinator for the speech and language department at the ESU. We have 23 speech therapists and 1 audiologist. also have experience with having been an instructor, an adjunct instructor at Wayne State College. I taught Intro to Speech Language Pathology and American Sign Language. So I have had experience in a variety of areas in education and at different levels. I have been married 21 years to Dominic Consoli. He is a police officer with the Wayne PD. We have one son, Aiden, who is a freshman in high school. 8 years ago, when I was thinking about running for school board, I had an administrator share with me qualities that he saw in me, and he felt that I would be a good team member on a school board. And he really encouraged me to consider running. And so as I thought about that and thought about my experiences and my knowledge in special ed, and it'd be a good way to run and serve in my community. I feel like I have the knowledge of special ed that I bring to the table to help with the school board decisions. Thank you.
Hi, I am Jaime, Manz, and I'd like to thank you for the opportunity tonight. Some of my background is that I came to school here to Wayne State 21 years ago, and I've never left the town. Wasn't my original plan, but it's worked out pretty well so far. I met my husband Doug here, and we have one daughter, Cassie, who's also a freshman in high school here, so I have a vested interest in our youth here at Wayne. Some of my background is I'm just originally from down the road in Norfolk, so I'm very familiar with the community. Growing up, I am a teacher over in Wheatfield. I'm starting my 18th year there. I spent my first 11 teaching 4th grade, and I am currently the kindergarten through 3rd grade reading specialist, so I've worked with kindergarten through 4th grade has kind of been my focus on these last years. As far as my school goes, I did graduate from Wayne State with my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, and I also have another master's degree from Concordia and Seward in reading. At school, when I decided to do this, I thought long and hard, and many days, many nights talking to my husband, and he finally said, "Would you just do it? I'm tired of listening to you." So he gave me the final push to decide to run for the school board. The second people I talked to right away was my principal and superintendent at my school, just to make sure that I had their blessing to move forward, and they thought it was a great idea that I was involved because I'm on every committee at my school. If there's a committee, I'm on it. So I know lots of sides of education. Not only am I on the committees within school, I am also have served numerous times as our Education Association president. I've been secretary, so I understand both sides of the educational world. My number one concern here in Wayne is making sure that our students have the very best possible to be successful members in society, and kind of piggybacking on what the city council said, having those kids stay in Wayne then, so that Wayne is a thriving community from here and into the future.
Mark Putnam. I'm very pleased and proud to be living in Wayne. After I graduated from Wayne State College, I moved away, went to New York, lived in Massachusetts for a little bit, and even in Iowa, but nothing's as special as Wayne. So I've been living in Wayne for a little over 4 years now. My beautiful wife, Jenny, she works up at the college. I have 3 stepchildren. Felicia, she lives in UNL, she's married. Stephen, he's a senior at Wayne High School. Megan, she's a sophomore, or junior at Wayne High School. And I have a daughter, she's a freshman at Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona. What do? I actually work for US Cellular. I'm a territory sales manager. I'm responsible for all the corporate stores and also the agent stores in my area. I'm also in charge with direct sales. So I'm actually have the opportunity to teach and train the Internet of Things. to both CEOs, IEOs, and also for local business owners. I do also a lot of agricultural work. Spend some time working in turkey barns, hog barns to set up all kinds of technology. I was also a member of the Nebraska Army National Guard here in Wayne when I graduated from Wayne State College. The reason why I want to be on the school board is I want to continue the excellence that the school board and the Wayne schools have provided. They have provided a great job, doing a great job providing for all the students. And if you look at the graduation rate, it's unbelievable. They did a great job, and I think the role of a school board member is to provide support for not only the teachers but the administrators, and to provide them with the best tools so they can be successful. I think also that the school board needs to partner with local businesses to make sure that there are other skills that are available so that we are providing a skilled worker that's available for all the businesses. As earlier when the school board was talking, there are some businesses that are needing some employers. Maybe that'd be a good way to partner with the city council to maybe there would be some jobs available for when they graduate. Just want to thank everybody for coming out, and I appreciate everything. So thank you.
Well, the company actually talked a little bit about my first question, or you were paying attention to the city council discussion. With a skills gap and the skilled labor need in Wayne and around Wayne, what can the school board do to help address that skills gap?
I think this is an area that we do have conversations about at our school board meetings. I think we're just currently having discussions about bringing in an ag program, which I think is really important and something that this community has been wanting for a long time. I think we are having those discussions about having a curriculum and base where we can get students out on the workforce and being involved in the community so that they are involved in learning the skills that are needed within the community.
Jaime Manz. I'm piggybacking on what Wendy said. I've been attending the school board meetings since about August, and I do know that the IT lab and the ag program is up in front thing that the school board has been talking about. Those are areas that we need to get kids involved in, both boys and girls. Also, I think we need to make sure that our students know all of their career choices that are out there for them, and they don't just have to be, the typical doctors and all those sorts of things. I know that my daughter is already looking at Northeast and just different vocational jobs that are needed, and I think that can help the community grow as well.
Mark Putnam. The millennial generation, Generation Y and Z, that's coming through our school system now, they're really into entrepreneurship. And I think that'd be a great way to really go after classes, clubs, and also work with internships with local businesses to make sure that they can have a chance to see a whole bunch of different type of jobs. And maybe even try some out-of-the-box things that, I know there's a huge need. Every time I go around and talk to different transportation companies, they have, whether it's a bus driver, whether it's a truck driver, maybe it may even be something that we even have like a simulator or something that they can do on the computer that gives them interest in truck driving or some kind of driving. So there's different skills that we can do just by thinking outside the box. So thank you.
Hurner. I think the biggest piece is the career readiness curriculum. I think it needs to continually be developed, and it is being developed and more so implemented at the state level at this point in time. But beyond that, I think we do need to understand, as other candidates have mentioned, that not all students are going to go to a 4-year preparation school or a 2-year college. that some may go out into the labor force right out of high school, and I think that is okay to allow students that choice and the autonomy to choose what they would like to do as a future career. In order to understand what our students want, I think we really need to, as teachers and as school board members, we need to help support administrators and teachers in doing this, is really build relationships with students and get to know who they are as people and understand who they are as people, so our teachers can help guide them into a career choice that they are ready for and they will be ready for, all of those different and various post-secondary options that may come our way.
Well, this question will be for well, everybody, but Jamie will start with it. Recently, in the last year or so, there's been talk with the school and community have been discussing some physical improvements to the school, some upgrades to the school property, like fine arts, auditorium, gymnasium space, and industrial arts renovations. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on these possible improvements?
Jaime, Manz. I believe that some of these improvements should be on the forefront and need to be made. We need to stay competitive at Wayne Public Schools and offer our kids the most beneficial education they can have. With that being said, I'm also a huge, huge penny pincher. I will make sure that money is being well spent and it is going to be something that is going to be used long into the future, not just a quick 1 or 2 years things. But when we're doing that, making sure that we are making the best choices for our students.
Mark Putnam. I agree. I think there are some definitely improvements that we need to do. Right now they're working on drawing up plans for the locker rooms at the high school, and I think those are long overdue. And I think there are some definite things that need to happen, but also being a conservative, I think that we have to also be fiscally responsible and make sure that it does make sense. The economy is rough, and so we, being stewards, we need to actually watch out for every dime that we're paying. But also in the same token, we need to provide, like she said, the best facilities and give each one of our students the best chance to have the most successful opportunity in high school and all the schools to prepare them for after high school, whether it's a vocational school or going on to a 4-year or 2-year degree. I think we have the right and the responsibility to do that. And I think that's what we have to do.
Hurner. I do truly believe in fiscal responsibility when it comes to school board, when it comes to school systems, and understanding what that actually means. I also truly believe in transparency. The city council discussed a little bit of what does it mean to be transparent. I think school boards and school systems need to be incredibly transparent as well to be able to analyze and understand what facilities are actually needed and understand which ones can we live without at this point in time. But there are several of the facilities that either need updated to provide adequate services to our students. I know a big piece was for ADA responsibility and understanding that all of the ADA requirements are actually being met. That's obviously incredibly important. But it does need to be done. I think every single step and every single measure needs to be done with an extreme cost-benefit analysis and understanding all of the benefits that can come out of what is being produced versus the cost that it takes into actually putting into the different buildings and systems.
Wendy, Consoli. Excuse me. With me being on the board, when this was discussed and brought up, I can tell you that we did have multiple meetings that discussed our needs and our wants. I think what we did right was have a committee set that we met numerous times to have input from the people in the community to discuss the thoughts about, what are the wants and what are the needs and how we're going to meet those needs to continue to keep our school competitive and meeting the needs of the students. I think we did right about having that open meeting where we had a lot of communication from the community. I think that's very important that we do communicate. We have that understanding and we're gaining knowledge and education of how the decisions that we make affect everybody in the community. I do think that a lot of those decisions that we make, we need to prioritize, which we did. We have decided that the locker rooms are a must. That was something that needed to be done, and so we are in the plans of making the changes for the junior high and high school gym locker rooms, and we will continue to have those conversations and put the list of the ideas that we have for the facilities on a prioritize and in a need where we can fiscally be responsible and be able to pay for those.
Okay, so I think I've heard everyone talk about fiscal responsibility. It's all come out of your mouth, or pinching pennies or whatever. And City Council talked a little bit about property tax, keeping property taxes low. What would you do as a school board member to facilitate work with your other political subdivisions like the city and the county to keep some of those costs down and be able to utilize some of their services maybe through the school?
Mark Putnam. I think we have to share some of the responsibilities with the city. We do with the college right now. We partner. The Wayne High football team uses the college field. They do pay for it. The partnership, I think, is very important. I think it's one that actually benefits everyone, as well as I think that we need to, besides partnering just with the college, we need to partner more with the city. Right now we're doing it with the parking lot, with the new swimming pool. There's other ways that we can actually help to facilitate different things with the city. I think working with the new program that they're coming out with is to work with the city about helping with skilled employment after they graduate from high school. So I think there's some great things that can come out of this with the partnership, and I think it's very beneficial for everybody that we have this partnership and we all work together.
Hurner. I would definitely tend to agree. We need to keep the open communication and all lines of communication open with city council members, with different communities, different businesses within our community as well, to keep more fiscal responsibility as Wayne Community School board members as well. I think there's various groups that could potentially be established to help mediate some different things, some different responsibilities that we could share with the community, as well as the school board, but then also keep the ties open, obviously, with Wayne State College and help with kind of share the cost with that as well. I think the activities that are provided through the Wayne community are so important for our students that they need that outlet, they need that piece. So when a school board and a school system can continue to keep open lines of communication with the city, with council members, and help establish all of those grounds of crossing over different finances, I think it's only in benefit for all of the students involved in our school, as well as us as community members to continually support that.
Wendy Consoli. This is an area where we do need to be thinking outside the box and coming up with ways on helping with funding, with funding cut. Our schools have suffered. Working with Mr. Linehan and the board, they've done a great job actually of really being prepared when they knew these funding cuts were going to happen. Nebraska is a non-equalized state, and so unfortunately the rural areas are the ones who get the punch and we don't get the funding. I do know that at the state board level, at a workshop we recently attended that they are having these discussions. They're forming committees on trying to figure out ways that we can get funding and help without relying just on property taxes. And so I'm excited to see what that will come out of that committee and ways to help our schools so that we can have those funds.
Jaime Manz. Like we've all said, I think that we need to make a partnership happen between the city and the county. Like I said, attending board meetings, it has been neat to see how the school board is talking to the city about like the parking lot and the possible street issue with the new swimming pool. Also, Wayne has lots to offer, like the community center. Partner thinking of ways to have the school use those facilities as well as the facilities that the school does have would be just one example. I think the partnership needs to happen before we need it. We don't need a crisis per se to happen and then decide to reach out. We need to build those bonds and foundations between all of our public entities right now so that we're all on the same page.
All right, this will be the rapid fire question. See if you can do it in about a minute or so, and then we'll do closing comments. What do you feel is the greatest challenge for the Wayne School District in the, let's say, near future, and how would you address that challenge?
Casey Hurner. What I would feel the greatest challenge would be is to truly, I think our school system has done a really good job at meeting the needs of learners. I think though we could always excel, and every single school system can do this, whether at K-12 or collegiate level, we can excel at meeting all of the needs. There are still certain populations of students that we're losing to. So the greatest challenge to me would try to be that 100% graduation rate and really not just get students through to graduate, but truly establish those open lines of communication, establish those relationships, and ensure that every single student in the school building feels safe, wanted, and feels as though that they have the education they need in order to progress in becoming beneficial community members. And hopefully they would stay in our community then.
Wendy, Consoli. I think our school does a great job with educating the students. We have teachers who are very knowledgeable and work really, really hard, and they really want kids to be lifelong learners. And so I really feel confident in that area that our school is very strong. One area that I think a lot of us feel that is what was the word that you said?
The greatest challenge?
The challenge on a fiscal responsibility is insurance. And we are having those discussions right now on what we need to do to look at having the savings options to the district and having the support and what the teachers need through insurance options.
Jaime Manz. I think a challenge is, of course, kind of like Casey said, is meeting the needs of all of our learners. Our students are changing, the population of students is changing, and making sure that we have everything in place to meet the needs of all of our students. I know that Wayne is doing a good job to adapt as our population changes, but just to stay on top of that so that we are more proactive than reactive. Also, just the fiscal responsibility. I know in Wayne, we all want what's best for our kids, so we have to be able to make sure that we are willing to provide that for our kids as well, but doing it in the most responsible way.
Mark Putnam. 70% of the kids that graduate from Wayne State go to either a 2-year or a 4-year school, and it's getting better every year. The biggest challenge is preschool. We have a preschool building that's away from the rest of the buildings. And I believe in a year, the lease is up. All also so does the funding. We had a grant. So that's a big challenge. And it's a challenge that we all face on this. And it's something that we're going to have to decide. Do we go after another lease? Or do we make a building that's tied right to the other buildings? And then have one campus together? These are some tough decisions that are coming down. And I think those are the real challenges. I can tell you that, the education thing is really great, because it is. It's fantastic here. But we have big fiscal responsibility decisions that are coming down, and they're coming down real shortly. And I think we all have some big decisions to make. Thank you.
Okay, that'll bring us to our closing comments. Mark?
Mark Putnam. Part of my training that I think I'm ready for the school board is I was an administrator for the largest tax school in the state of Nebraska. And that's kind of helped me prepare, because I had 27 instructors. They were lawyers, doctors, they were enrolled agents, they were CPAs. They did everything. And I had the privilege and challenge to encourage them and to teach them and to also to motivate them. And I think that just helped a little bit in getting ready. Also, attending the school board meetings and learning from all the current school board members and seeing their passion that they want to have every kid to be successful and to learn from them. I think the school board is a very important thing. I think it's very important. It's all of our future, and it's very important. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Thank you so much for coming out and providing this debate. So thank you very much.
Jaime, Manz. First, I'd just like to thank Wes and everyone else for this opportunity to have this forum and to hear what all of us candidates have to say. In closing, number one, I'm here for the kids. I chose teaching because I love kids and I want to see kids excel. I want every kid at Wayne to excel and to go on to be successful in everything that they do. Not only though am I here for the kids, but I'm also here as an advocate for our teachers, and also though to listen to what the community needs, wants are, and to hopefully be able to work with administration and work with the school board to make everyone as happy as we can here in Wayne.
Wendy, Consoli. Again, thank you for the opportunity to visit with you guys tonight. I want to end by just saying I have really grown both professionally and personally by serving on the school board. There is really a lot to learn, and there's so much that goes into having a school be successful. As a board member, we do participate in different committees, and I want to share the committees that I participate on are the curriculum committee, the policy committee, and then recently the negotiations. And with our board, we really keep the 3 goals that we have set in mind, and we focus on those on our agenda and on our meetings and our discussions. And those goals are student achievement, finance and facilities, and communications. I feel like my time on the school board, there have been some really good things that have happened. One, hiring Mr. Linehan and working with him and knowing what he did to help with, again, the budget cuts that we had coming with funding. I think that having that preschool was a huge benefit to students that we were missing. There were so many kids in our community that were not getting the experience and the education before they entered kindergarten, and we're hoping that that will close the gap. There are things that I'm really looking forward to that we are having discussions right now. Again, the ag program, the updating of the new gym lockers, and an area that I feel is important is listening to students and their ideas. I think we're here for the students. We need to listen to them. And so they are going to be participating in a couple surveys. I think Wayne Community Schools is a great institution. We have, again, wonderful teachers who spend a lot of time. They want kids to learn. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you.
Casey Hurner. First, I would like to say what a blessing Wayne Community Schools has. There are so many wonderful candidates running for the school board and dedicated people really wanting to meet the needs of every learner, really wanting to help support teachers, help support administrators, help support the community of Wayne to then to support our community school system. I want to go back to the mission or the vision of Wayne Public Schools, and it's the learning for life. I think that's something that just truly and thoroughly sticks with me and who I am as an educator. I've been, with my background in educational administration and teaching, and I'm almost finished with my doctorates in educational administration, so I have always been through the whole system of wanting to learn, and I'm continuing to learn, and I'm continuing to grow as a professional. I will never know everything. I will never make all of the right decisions. However, I do know my focus is on students and developing relationships with students and really knowing who they are as people and wanting what is truly best for them, as well as developing relationships with other professionals and supporting teachers, supporting administrators, supporting parents, so parents can be advocates of their own children in the school systems. I think that's an incredibly important role of a school board member. And I just thank you guys again for the opportunity to come and to listen to all of us speak about our passion and the reasons why we want to be board members and serve Wayne Community Schools. Thank you.
Right, that will conclude tonight's local candidate forums. Thank you to all the candidates for participating in the forums, and a special thank you for all of you for having the courage and drive to run for political office. Also, thank you to the audience for attending and listening on the radio. I want to make a quick plug for tomorrow night. District 17 Legislative Forum will be from 7 until 8:30 at the Fire Hall. So we encourage you to come out and listen to what Ardell Bankston and Joni Albright have to say. And one of them will be your next state legislators. Again, that is at the Fire Hall tomorrow night. Best of luck to all candidates, and remember to go out and vote on November 8th. Thank you.